Okay, so today we got a 2007 instrument cluster. It's got a failing microcontroller. So this one's a mail-in repair. It's another business that does instrument cluster repairs that sent it to me. I have to first say thank you to Jeff. He referred them to me to do the repair. But this one's got a failing microcontroller. But this is how it came in the mail. So he's got the rest of the parts back at his shop. I'm actually surprised we're doing this repair on a 4-gauge cluster. These you can actually get them pretty cheap on eBay. But hey, if somebody wants to send one in for repair, I will fix it. But yeah, normally it's the 6-gauge clusters that people get fixed. These 4 gauges are a relatively cheap instrument cluster. Um, so yeah, let's get in there. I mean, you never know what you're getting with used stuff anyways. Let's get this thing apart. We have one tab broken off there, but that's no big deal. Alright. So, as we can see, they've tried most of the Please Bro works. Zoom all the way in here. We can see that the microcontroller's been reflowed by the solder job there. We can see that the voltage regulator, both voltage regulators have been reflowed on here, and same with the connector and these diodes. This one he also did a screen repair on. Um, so yeah, let's get into this and just kind of prove our problem and then continue on from there. So let me just back it back up so we can see it boot up. Alright. So we are at 0.29 amps. So that's kind of normal. And now we're at 70, so we're booting up. So we've booted all the way up, and we are currently working. But then with these failed microcontrollers, they will just shut off. Um, so it also is a worse condition when it's cold, so it'll do it more often when it's cold. So right now we're at like 85 degrees here because it's South Georgia. It's just frickin' hot in here, so it's staying on. But let me go get it cold and bring it right back, and I'll show you it doing its thing where it starts to shut off. Okay, so I went and stuck it in front of the little AC unit I have out here in the garage for a minute, and let's give it a shot and see what we get. So we're at 0.29, and it should attempt to boot, and then it should shut right back off. So there we go. Just boot it up, and then it should die. There we go, and then it died. So, and then if I get it hot, it will start up and stay on. So let's just take the hot air station and we'll just set her down to 200 degrees. Just warm this guy back up, and it shouldn't shut back off on us at all. So okay, now we got it nice and toasty, and it just stays on. So that's how I diagnose the problem. Now you can have intermittent problems with capacitors, same way, where you get them hot, they start to work. But I made sure that I just focused all that heat directly on the microcontroller, so that way I know I'm not heating up the surrounding capacitors to eliminate them. So that's how I diagnosed the problem for this. Okay, well, I'm pretty excited to do this video because it has been a while since I've been able to do one of these repairs. And it's actually, last time I did a video on it was last time I did it, I think. And I definitely had not got the good camera yet. So now y'all are going to get to see this in like HD glory instead of that webcam that I used to use. So if you haven't seen me do this before and you want to know like full in-depth exactly how I'm doing it, I'm going to try to cover it pretty well here, but once you've covered a subject before, it's kind of hard to cover it again, I find. So I may leave out some details, so you might want to go check out the older videos. I should throw them, I guess I should point that way. Should have a little link to I'll probably just make a playlist for it. So yeah, let's get this together. We're gonna use our Segger Jlink EDU version because we're not doing this for business, and we are going to use this is the data sheet for this, and we just need the Jtag because we're just going to Jtag in, and they were so nice as to leave us a header there. We just had to find us a ground for doing it all, but yeah, there we go. So let's jump into this and start getting our Jlink up, wired in, and see what we get. The only two pins on here that you're not going to see on here. So this is all of what we're going to be doing up here, and then the only two that's not shown on my sheet of paper here is your V reference, which is the very first pin, and your ground, which is any one of them on the bottom row except for pin 2, because it goes on the J-links, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So all the odd ones for this first row and all the even ones for the bottom row. So you can use any one of these as ground except for pin 2. So I just used pin 4. So yeah, that one, I'll just give it ground over here. And then VREF, we're just going to get the reference of 5 volts off of here. We'll just clip it on there. It's a little bit easier to get it to clip on there if you haven't soldered on this before, but it looks like we'll still be able to get it to clip just fine. So let's pop all these guys on there and solder them down, and we're going to dump the data off of here so that way we know we get all the right features back on there, because some of the features are stored on the MCU while some of them are stored on the EEPROM. We're not changing the EEPROM, we're just changing the MCU. We need to make sure we get the exact firmware off of this one to put back onto the new one. So if I remember correctly, basically these are backwards of that. So it's just kind of a mirror image. But let's take a look here. So yeah, so the test reset is pin 13, so there. And then on my Segger, it's pin 3, so that'd be the second one on the top row. So, yep, my memory was correct, it looks like. So, we'll just go through and put all of these on. I take it and I solder them onto the back normally. Let's see here. 5 is 12. Yep. 5. I think the very last one, you skip one on there. Just go ahead and get these peeled apart. 11 is 7. Get it to go in there. 10. I think we're hitting the back of this. Let me just pull this out real quick. Alright, so then test point 9. Get it in there. There we go. Goes to, it's the one that skips one if I remember right. Yep, it goes to 13. So instead of 9, 10, so instead of 11, it'd be in 13. So there we go. We just skip one there. And then, so yellow is our bottom one, so it's ground. Plug this back in. And orange is VREF, which is this guy. This should be our 5 volt feed out of it. It can be kind of hard to get it on there when they've been soldered. Yeah, looks like we're not going to be able to use one of these that can grab on. Let's go ahead and take that off. And let me go grab another one and I'll just solder it to it. Okay, so let's solder these down real quick, just that way we make sure we get a good connection, less interference. Zoom y'all in so you can kind of see what I'm doing here, but simple enough. It just ensures we have a good solid connection on that Jtag line there. I've found that if I don't solder them down, sometimes I get some corrupted data, so we'll go ahead and read this back and just verify everything looks good. Okay, so we are waiting for it to kind of power up here, and then we will get the read. So I have both open right now. I have JFlash, which is the one that I can do the read back with. So let's see, we've got it. It powered up, and then it powered back off. So let it power all the way up, and then we'll try to connect. There we go. Now we're all the way on. Yep. See, that's why we're replacing you. Sometimes it'll still let us connect even though it's not booted all the way up. So yep, connected successfully. Let's go ahead and do our read back. So target, manual program, read back, entire chip. Alright, we successfully read it back. So now let's go ahead and save data file. And we want to save it as bin. We're gonna just go, let's just label this 07 4 gauge. Alright, so there we go. We've now saved it, so we can get this chip off of the board. Also I did was I took my wires off to get them out of the way. I don't want to melt them. And put a Lewis Rossman amount of flux on there, so I got a new one of these guys in recently, a new tip for it that's supposed to be made specifically for this size package, so we're going to give this a test and see if it works for us. Let's see here. Yep, we got the right temperature setting. Let's see. Let's try turning that up a little. Just trying to preheat the area around it a little bit first, so that way kind of reduces the risk of warping and all that. Okay, I was not successful with the new square one, so I didn't want to give it heat any longer with that one, so I switched back to my just normal nozzle that I use. Man, these things get stuck on there. There's adhesive on the bottom of them, and then it really just gets stuck on there. I'm always really uncomfortable taking these off. I probably could have actually gotten it off with the square one. I just was afraid to put that much pressure on it. I'm always afraid of lifting a pad, but we got this off there nice and clear, no lifted pads. It's always that adhesive makes it hard to know if you've got all your pads free or if you're just stuck on that glue down there. So, well, we got it off, so let's clean this up. Clean up, looks like we knocked one or two capacitors around, so we'll fix those, and then we'll get the new chip on there. I'm sorry, I was listening to music, got sidetracked, and started working without recording, so yeah, we left off with, I had it off, I put back on the two capacitors that I had shifted, and I just took some solder wick, cleaned up all the solder pads, and then got the new blank chip, which I'm running low on these. I'm going to need to order some more of these from China soon. Got the new blank chip sitting on the board, and I just tacked it down in a couple of spots so that way we can get the microscope out and actually start flowing it down. So let's I think I'm going to switch over to the microscope. I haven't done any footage under the microscope in a while. Okay, just looking real quick at that initial tack down. Looks like we got it sitting on there pretty level. Obviously we have giant solder blobs on there, but that's just because we were trying to tack it in place there. But yeah, everything looks lined up pretty good. So we'll just solder this down. This looks like it's going to go pretty straightforward for us. You'll see me basically just do a drag solder across it. I'm just going to drag some leaded solder across, and then I'll come back and clean up with the flux in the, not the flux, the solder wick in the end. Okay, so it's done. I cleaned it up a little bit without the microscope in my way, yeah, that's the install of the microprocessor there, and I have to say it doesn't look like it was hand soldered on there. We just gotta flash it, so I need to solder back on these pins here. Alright, let's just pull them all off of here. And we'll put them back on. Alright, this was VRAF. Unfortunately, I broke one of them. I gotta go grab another one. Oh well. Okay, well, I forgot to click record again when I was hooking up the Segger, so same as before, and 5 volts in the bottom leg of your voltage regulator there, and ground. So let's switch over to the other screen. Jlink, or J-Flash Light open. Just click OK, we got the right chip selected there. Let's find our bin. Alright, where did I save it to? Probably documents. 074 gauge, yep. Alright, now we gotta power it up. And program device. We'll see if we get a successful write on here. Alright, that looks like we are done. So it should boot up now. And yep, there we go. That is a repaired instrument cluster. So yeah, we'll get this off of here, and it's been running here for probably 30 seconds, no issues. I'll let it run for a half hour, so make sure we don't have any issues. But yeah, looks like we are done. It was just a bad microcontroller. I mean, I was fairly confident in it. It was doing the symptoms of it, and then I was absolutely sure after I cooled it down, it did it more. Because it's just these microcontrollers. I'm not sure exactly what's failing on it. It's not actually the entire microcontroller. So when I first started doing them, I thought that they were, like, the controller was dying. But that's not the problem, because it still powers up. So without the microcontroller powering up, I wouldn't be able to talk to them through Jtag. but those ones when they were cycling on and off, they would I could still get it to go into the reset mode and read it. So it's something to do with probably it's one of the I/O pins that enable the whole thing to work. Probably it's generating a signal for some of the power supply section in here. So not 100% sure what causes them to fail, but maybe it's what drives this guy here. These things always get hot right here. I'm not 100% sure what these drive. I'd really love to get a diagram of one of these. If anybody has the schematic to this, we'd be best friends if I could get it from you. I'd let you come vacation at my house in Florida if I could get a schematic for this guy from you. Um, yeah, just I hope you guys liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. If y'all are interested in learning more about these, if you want to see more videos on the Jlink, I absolutely can do that. Mine is only the EDU version, so I can't do everything with it. The license really only lets you do Jtag. But yeah, it's a really neat little tool. It lets you do a lot of things. If anybody is really good at reverse engineering ARM7, I can give you a bunch of these bins off of these, because I'd really be interested in being able to change the checksum for the error messages, so I could change what these error messages are. But there's a checksum on there, so I can't just change them willy-nilly. But yeah, they're in plain text on there, so it'd be easy to change it. I just don't know how to do checksums and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm rambling on. This has already been like 2 times longer of a repair than it should have been. But I'm pretty meticulous when it comes to these. It's a lot of work to change them, so I take my time. I don't want to do them again. But yeah, just drop that thumbs up, comment down below if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. I'll see you guys in the next one.